Hey friends, welcome to practice. Today I'm going to guide you through the foundations of standing postures. So it's going to be a little bit slower, more hatha oriented, and we're just going to focus on the foundational asana poses for a standing sequence. We are going to have an opportunity to use blocks if you wish to, if it will support you. Have two blocks on hand and come to stand with me at the top of your mat. Inhale, take your arms up. Urdhva Hastasana, look up at your hands. Exhale, you can soften your knees and fold into your legs. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back and your right foot back, downward dog. Take a moment here in your downward dog to spread your fingers, push through your shoulders, lift your sit bones up. If you feel that your spine is very rounded, I invite you to soften your knees or even widen your feet. You're going to spin your left heel in and down, so your left toes turn out 45 degrees. You can think they're turning out towards 10 o'clock on an imaginary clock. And then step your right foot forward towards your right thumb, and you might have to walk it and guide it forward a little bit further. So this is the foundation of our Warrior One. So you want to feel that your chest and your right armpit can touch your right knee. And this is finding just a good measurement. If the knee touches the armpit, you're finding a good fold. And then from there, I want you to get the back leg as long away from you as you can without lifting your heel. So if you can guide it a little bit further back, go for it. Spread your back toes. Keep your back heel rooted and come up to Warrior One. There's a few arm variations that can be nice here. I personally love taking the arms wide into a V. This is just going to create more space in the shoulder girdle and support external rotation slightly. So palms up. You also can take your arms slightly in front of your face, pressing the palms together, and you can tilt your head back and look at your hands. Think that the tailbone is rooting slightly and the chest and the armpits are going up. So there is a back bend happening here. Take another breath in, bending into your right knee 90 degrees, and breathe out. Good. Breathe in, getting taller. Exhale, plant your hands and just step to a downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, spin your right heel down. Turn your toes to face 2 o'clock on an imaginary clock. Step your left foot forward towards your left thumb. Again, lengthen your stance long enough so that the back heel is rooted and the left knee finds the left armpit. And if you have more space to get longer without lifting the back heel, go for that. Over time, as your practice advances, you might find a longer stance. And also, I forgot to mention that your feet are very slightly in two lines. You can do heel-to-heel alignment. It's going to make it a little bit more challenging in your hips. So I would opt for feet like railroad tracks, left foot in the left lane, right foot in the right lane. And that way, the pelvis can be turned forward and not to the right, not out to the side. Again, rooting your tailbone down, lifting your pubic bone up. Take the arm variation that feels supportive for you. Lifting your heart. Keep finding the right pinky toe of the back foot. Keep lifting your heart. Keep sinking the left knee to 90 degrees. Full breath in and out. Take another breath in your back bend. Exhale, release your hands, step to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step to your right thumb. Same stance, spin your left heel down. This time we're going to work with the right leg straight. So I invite you to make your stance as long as you need to, again, keep the back heel grounded and the back pinky toe rooted. Spine long, spreading the toes. The hips are also square, so your feet can be in that idea of 2 lanes on the highway. Left foot in the left lane, right foot in the right lane. You can use blocks if that feels like the ground is far away, especially if your knee is really bent or your back is really rounded. I invite you to use blocks. You can always micro bend the knee, but this is a straight leg pose. So try to get the right leg as straight as it will go. And we're staying long in the spine. So sternum forward, think that you're back bending, your heart forward. And then now we'll take a few breaths, taking the head down towards the shin. Releasing your forehead down any amount. Your hands are grounded on the floor or on bricks. Pulling the right hip back and pulling the left hip forward. And then you can take your last few breaths. You might even walk your hands backwards behind your right foot and take your forehead down. Full breath in and out. Beautiful. Step to downward dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, step towards your left thumb. Spin your right heel down. Straighten your left leg. Spread your toes. Pull the left hip back. Pull the right hip forward. And think that you're dropping your chest towards your toes. So finding a long spine, even a slight extension in the spine for the first few breaths. Shoulders back, away from the ears, vision forward. Back leg is really strong and straight. And then as you exhale, you can start to take your forehead down towards your shin. Any amount. Again, working with 2 straight legs. Feel free to put your hands on blocks. The left knee is not locked out, but it is a straight leg. Belly pulls up. Forehead draws down. And then you can slide your hands backwards if you like. Turn your palms the opposite way. Take a few more breaths, drawing the head towards your shin. Plant your hands, downward dog. Walk your hands to your feet at the back of the mat. We'll call this a forward hang. So we're going to soften the knees, let the head hang heavy. You can measure 2 fists inside the arches of your feet. Let your arms rest. Bend your knees enough so that your hands are on the ground. Maybe shake out your head and release your neck. Good. Straighten your legs all the way. Feel how that feels very different. Notice where you feel this fold with straight legs. And bend your knees, round your back, come all the way up. Bring your toes together. Bring your toes together, bend your knees, take your arms up by your ears, chair pose. Bring weight into the heels. Pull the belly in, heavy your tailbone. Arms by the ears, palms face each other. Weight into the heels. Sit a little lower. And exhale, stand up. Beautiful. Take a big, wide stance. Open your arms out, so feel that your ankles are as wide as your wrist. Energize the arms, spread your fingers. Turn your right toes to the front of the mat. The left toes are still facing out. Bend your right knee for a warrior two. So I want you to feel here that you're not leaning to your front leg. So your torso is neutral. It's aligned directly in between both knees. So when you do this, you might feel the stretch more in the back leg by aligning your spine. So nose is over the sternum, is over the belly button. Again, not leaning forward. The right knee is bending towards 90 degrees, so lining up with the middle of the foot, almost like dropping the thigh, almost like a bench that you could sit on. Back toes are spread and engaged, the back arch is lifting. Let's take another breath in here. And exhale, stand. Good. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes to the back of the space. And you can make your stance a little bit shorter. So like maybe wiggle the back foot in a touch. And we'll come into Trikonasana. So extending the torso over the straight leg. Release your left hand just below your knee on your shin. If you feel like you can easily take your fingertips to the ground, go for it. But what tends to happen is this right hip really drops. And I want you to keep the right hip slightly open. And you can even play with the difference, right? As you drop the hip, it's more like a pyramid pose, which we already did. So I want you to feel that the right hip is slightly lifted. Stack your wrist. Feel that your shoulders are stacked. Energize that top arm. Good. And then we'll inhale, stand up. Turn your left toes in. Turn your right toes to the front. Bend your knee. Bring your right hand outside your foot, right outside your ankle, and take your left arm over your ear. Left palm is down. If this feels really challenging, you could wiggle your back foot in, so make the stance a little shorter. You could also put your right hand on a block. So take whatever support you need. Push the knee out into the arm. Left palm is down. And you're going to turn your gaze up underneath your left arm. Inhale, come up. Turn your right toes in. Turn your left toes to the back of the mat. Come to warrior two at the left foot, left side. Spread your fingers. Energize your arms. Line up your nose over your belly button. So center your torso evenly. Keep dropping the left thigh towards 90 degrees, knee over the ankle. Chest up. Your hands could be very slightly above your shoulders. Good. Inhale, straighten your legs. Turn your left toes in. Turn your right toes to the back of the mat. Hitch your hips back slightly. Lengthen your torso. Slide your right hand just below your knee on your shin. You could also use a block or take your fingertips all the way to the ground. But again, I want you to feel that your left hip is engaged and your left hip is slightly opening to the left. So if you're working with the block, you could go for the highest height. If you don't have a block, you can use your hand on your shin. Energize the top arm. You can always turn your gaze to look up at the top hand. That's a full expression of the posture. And then inhale, let's stand up. Turn your left toes to the back of the space. bend your knee, bring your left hand outside your ankle. And you can use fingertips, you can use a block on any height. Again, the knee's bent 90 degrees. We're going to draw the right arm alongside the ear, reaching forward. The knee is pushing out into the arm, and you're wrapping your right shoulder up. You're twisting your gaze up. So you can start to turn your eyes in front of your arm towards the sky. Strong back leg. Spread the back toes. Ground the pinky toe. And inhale, stand up. Beautiful. Let's turn both toes to face the side, hands on your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, hinging at your hips. Take your hands to the ground. Wide leg, forward fold. For this first few breaths, you can just have your hands straight underneath you and focus on a long spine, especially if you feel like your back is really rounded. You could soften your knees and lengthen your spine. If you feel more open, your spine feels like it's available to get longer, then take your hands further back and draw your head further down towards the ground. You can actually walk your hands all the way in line with your heels. Your elbows bend straight back like chaturanga, like you're making a shelf with your elbows, and you keep drawing your head straight down. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward. Let's heel toe the feet a little closer together. And hands on your hips and stand all the way up. Beautiful. Come to the top of your space. Inhale, stretch your arms up, look up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold into your legs. Plant your hands. Step your left foot back. Downward dog. Spin your left heel down, step your right foot forward. And this time we're going to be in the same shape as Warrior One, but we're going to do an open twist. So it's kind of a Katona yoga version of extended side angle. So the right hand is inside the ankle and the left arm goes up. So I'm just kind of showing you that you can come into an extended angle type of twist with the hips more square, and with the feet, the foundation being a little bit wider. So the knee pushes into the upper arm, and your left shoulder is rotating, but your left hip is down. So you're not opening your left hip. Your pelvis is square. So the twist is really happening in the upper spine. And release your hands. Step through down dog. Spin your right heel down, step your left foot to your left thumb. Same stance as your Warrior One. Left hand inside the ankle. The knee pushes into the upper arm, and you'll revolve your right arm up. You can start to gaze up. The knee pushes into the arm. The chest rotates from the sternum, but that right hip is still grounded. And exhale, release. Step to downward dog. Let's take the feet a little wider. Turn the toes out, heels in. Walk your hands back. Lower your hips into a squat. You could make this more challenging by taking the arms up, or you can bring your hands to prayer. Left toes are facing 10 o'clock, right toes facing 2 o'clock, so slightly turning the toes out. Pull the sternum up, Widen your collarbones. Bring your elbows to your inner knees. And then last breath, take the arms up. As you exhale, you can fold and straighten your legs. Heel toe your feet a little closer together, hip width, 2 fists inside the feet. Slide your hands underneath your feet so the toes find the wrist crease, and then relax your head. Your knees are so bent, your belly will touch your thighs. Release your hands. Grab your big toes with your peace fingers, straighten your legs, bend your elbows out to the side, pull your head towards your toes. Lift the shoulders up away from the ground. Pull your elbows back to the outsides of your shin and pull your head further towards your shin. And release, hands on your hips, bend your knees and come up. We will take a couple of balancing poses. Standing on the right leg, lift your left shin up. Give it a little squeeze, take your knee out, and slide your foot up your leg, above your knee. Trikonasana. Vrikshasana. Tree pose. So feel that as you reach the arms up, you energize the arms so much that the ribs lift away from the pelvis. Again, if you want to bring your arms into this V shape, this creates a little bit more space in the shoulders. And you'll wrap your armpits in and your palms up. Keep reaching and getting lighter off the right foot. Turn your knee forward and extend your leg any amount. And release. Other side. Hug your right shin up. Open it out 45 degrees. Slide your foot up above your knee. So your knee is not all the way to the right. It's just at an angle. Yeah? And then once you feel stable, you can take the arms up. Reaching and energizing the arms. Lifting the ribs. Lifting the shoulders. Soft, steady eyes, steady breath. Wrap the palms up. Wrap the eye of the elbows in, armpits in. And turn your knee forward, extend your leg any amount, and release. Toes touch, sit low into a chair pose. And exhale, fold. Take a step back to your plank pose. Lower your knees. Take a seat. Come into stillness. You can turn your palms down on your legs and start to tune into your breathing. Connecting first to your seat, what's supporting you, what's underneath you, the ground. Feeling your breath go in and downward, all the way to your pelvic floor. And feel your exhale move up and out. You can bring your hands together to honor your practice. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Open mouth, let it go. Namaste. Thank you for sharing this practice, and I will see you next time. Bye.